Hi, everybody. Welcome to Worldview 360. I'm Erica from In the Company of Cards, and here's our good friend Lena from LenaDownUnder. Hi, Lena. What a week!
Hi.
What a
And
week!
I have to just let you all know, I woke up this morning. I live in the state of Victoria, and there's a huge oil refinery on fire. So we were already, struggling with the oil situation, and now our
And now
second
refinery.
refinery in Australia is on fire, and it's notoriously hard to get on top of a refinery fire.
I mean, of all things.
Isn't it weird? Beyond weird?
Yeah, it's weird. Do they know how it started yet?
No, that's what everyone's asking, of course, but I doubt we'll know for months, really.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
If it's done properly. But God, those firefighters have done an amazing job. They're down to 30 meters, like 30 yards square.
Mm-hmm.
They have done amazing work.
And I will say, I'm always amazed that at the investigations that they're able to do to actually pinpoint what started it. So, yeah. Well, meanwhile, that refinery fire is purely metaphor for the fact that everything is on fire this week.
This Aries thing, everything is on fire.
Yes. Yeah. So if you are feeling exhausted, apparently astrologically, that is entirely appropriate, and it should last until Friday. So don't expect to write the great American or Australian novel. Take lots of naps, drink lots of water.
Take your vitamins and go for a walk.
Absolutely. So we have so much to talk about. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. I saw people waiting for us when we were talking backstage.
Cool.
This is great. Thank you for coming and welcome, and we're delighted to have you. So, I mean, okay, we will all. I will send Reiki. I'm a Reiki healer, distance healer. I will send Reiki to the firefighters and hope that will be contained soon and with as few injuries as possible. So, I mean, there's so many things on our list and they're all so interesting that why don't let's do like a build up. So let's start with something like let's see. I mean, it's all amazing. Let's start with the war for a minute. I had someone in my I did a live thing on I think it was here. Yeah. And somebody said, is this war going to last long? Or people are saying it's only going to be a couple of weeks. We know that every other day the felon says it's over. But now, just now, I saw in the news, we are sending another 10,000 troops to a place where the war is apparently over. So obviously it's not over. And they asked me, did I think it would bleed into 2027, 2028? Yes, maybe not hot and heavy, but I do think this is not going to be a short thing. We know he is talking about not only is everybody going to be automatically signed up for the draft. This is young men between 18 and 25, but he's gone further and has now talked about drafting. Before it was just keeping the list, but now he's saying, no, yeah, people are going to have to be drafted. That's going to be another nail in his coffin. But speaking of the war, China. Do not mess with China. Do not play with them. Because they do not play. And so here we are. We had a wide open strait until we didn't.
Yes.
And then, so now that it's blocked, the felon decides he's going to go double block it because it's already, okay. I think he wants to get in on the money, whatever fee is charged for ships going back and forth. But China said, as we say in New Jersey, China said, excuse us. And they just took their tankers or the ships or whatever they were, and went right through the strait. I think good for China. Good for China. Because what's the felon going to do?
Yes, exactly. Basically, China is calling his bluff.
Yes.
They've done the warning.
Yep.
Do not try and stop us getting our ships through the strait. You will regret it, I think was the phrase.
Yep.
But they don't want to.
Right?
They don't want a huge war. They just want to get on with business.
Exactly.
But if you corner them in this way, I mean, it's just bizarre.
It's scary.
China's always covering its options. It's also looking at getting oil from other places. We're suddenly signed a deal with Brunei yesterday.
Okay.
Because people have been so upset, this has a history, with the tariffs that came with the accompanying abuse and everything else. So people were already talking to each other in different combinations than they have in the last 70 years or if ever. So something like this happens and suddenly we can get a deal with Brunei in 3 days or something. These deals used to take 5 years, trade deals.
It's really important, and I'm not trying to sound like Pollyanna, but there is a silver lining to the felon. He is the great destroyer, the great whatever. Yeah. But out of that will come something so much better. And that's an example of that. That's an example.
Yes, we're going to go from a unipolar world with the US at the top to a multipolar world because Brazil is powering, China's actually has been powering but is plateauing because they overextended, but that's another conversation. And you have these, and then the EU is back from the dead. It was just limping along, right? And all of a sudden, and NATO was just having a lie down, and this is now a reinvigorated NATO and Canada. So this is in a year. And under it.
I mean, we were just talking backstage about 2 other countries, Spain and Italy. And I don't know if you all saw, but in Italy, Italy's prime minister was quite the trumper. She was the only European head of state that came for his second inauguration. They were great buddies, and he thought she was cute.
Yeah, so, look, that's what it was all about. Now, let's talk about her for a moment.
Yes, go ahead.
Giorgia Meloni.
Yep.
Far right. I mean, in Italy, she might not be far right, but by our standards, far right. Her party is called the Brotherhood of Italy. She actually worked her way to the top of the Brotherhood of Italy without changing its name. I mean, okay, so yes, as a right-wing person, she came to the inauguration, and because she's blonde with nice legs, he was swooning over Italy, you know. But here's the thing, she's come out between then and now on various issues internationally in quite a compassionate way. You know, she has...
That's why the felons decided she's an enemy now.
That's why he's decided she's an enemy. I also think she's a nightmare. Italian viewers can let me know, but my impression from Italian friends is she's doing horrible right-wing things in Italy, but outside of Italy, she's more a younger person who doesn't want to see starving children washed up on the beach. You know what I mean? So she's caught between these two worlds of what she's trying to represent.
Well, I watched the parliament yesterday. Really, I mean, they really told her off. They said, why are you not condemning him like the rest of the countries are? What are you waiting for? I mean, she couldn't even talk. But you said that something else happened in parliament.
In the Italian parliament yesterday, after all that, because everyone was very angry with her.
Yep.
And the woman who's the head of the major left party stood up and said, Yes, I am furious too. But at the end of the day, we're all Italians and we have to stand as one against this threat.
Another example of this great destroyer, the felon,
Yes.
bringing people together in ways
Yes.
that they've not been together since forever.
Exactly. And we're seeing it in this concertina sort of time frame now.
Yes.
And that's the exciting thing, Erica. I really believe
it's
that.
very exciting. I mean, we have to look for these silver linings where we can because, oh my gosh. Okay. And Spain as well. I know their leader is young. Is that a prime minister as well? I don't know.
Yes.
And they got into it. He and Trump got into it.
Yes. And the new young man, I've forgotten his name this second, but he's fabulous in the sense of, I'm trying to think of a comparison. I suppose Newsom back in the day or something before he had a history, you know.
Maybe Mamdani. Maybe he's like Mamdani more.
Yeah, touch older than Mamdani, but exactly. He's a socialist at heart. We'll see what happens with that over time because what's described as socialist.
Exactly.
Varies. But he smacked down Trump on a few occasions.
Well, that is needed. So that's good.
And he was the first, credit to him, he was the first to close the airspace. When all this kicked off in the Gulf, he said, we're closing our airspace and you can eat my shorts.
Good.
That's not a direct quote.
Now, is Keir Starmer, what is his perspective?
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, he's a mess, I know. This is the British Prime Minister we're talking about now.
Okay, so Keir Starmer, who is Labor, i.e. Dems in the American context, in the wrong party from the beginning. Nothing he ever does is for the people. You know, he's a dud. I don't think he'll even last long.
No, everybody's saying
in the parliamentary system, we can have a vote of no confidence in our system and it has to meet a threshold, but after that, they're gone. But Starmer has fluctuated between going, oh, well, don't ask me what I think, it's all too hard, or I'll go and grovel to Trump and pretend I'm not, or I'll stand up to him, but then I'll, come back and say something else. He's very candid.
I thought it was me. I was like, why can't I get a handle on Keir Starmer?
Candy floss.
Okay.
And he has a trophy wife who makes Melania look like she's on an economy drive. Right. So she would spend more on sunglasses and handbags than the United Nations has, in its budget. No, Starmer's a disaster.
Well, so if he doesn't last, do you think, I mean, I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse, but with everything happening the way that it's happening, do you see any possibility of a return of Great Britain to the EU?
Oh, yeah. And I think it's actually happening without them naming it.
Okay.
Right. Good. So, a little deal's been done, over here with a bit of fisheries, and another little deal's been done over here with surveillance, and another little thing's been done, because they've worked out it's a disaster in the modern world. No one can paddle their own canoe in the modern world.
But this will give, again, one of the benefits of selling is it sort of opens a door for them to come back. So that's really good.
Yes. All right. And that way they don't have to go to a vote or anything. They'll just inch their way back.
All right. Now, there are two topics that I'm itching to get to. Which one do you want to do first? The one is you all should know, I said to Lena earlier, you've said a couple of times that you wanted to focus on religion. And I've said, okay. And we have talked about religion. And then I thought, okay, so we did that. But now I see why they pay you the big bucks, because, you had the crystal ball that religion is really important. So where am I going with this? You've all seen that AI generated picture of the felon wearing a white tunic with a red stole. I don't know. I came from the doctor today. My doctor was not wearing that. Do you doctor wear that? Okay. And holding an orb of light. Now, I do Reiki. That's true. Okay. I don't think I've actually, and I mean, I'm trained, I'm attuned. I've never actually seen a ball of light in my hand as I'm doing Reiki, but he had a ball of light. He looked as though he were healing someone that looked kind of like Epstein with a beard to me, or Jon Stewart, depending. And there's a nurse, there's some military people, there is something that looks like Baal.
Just saying.
Statue of Liberty, some soldiers. It was bizarre. And he said, "Oh, no, that wasn't me as Jesus. That was me as a doctor." And the theory, the word on the street is, I think this makes a lot of sense. The reason the word doctor comes up is several-fold. One, clearly this figure, this felonious figure dressed in his white and red, was laying hands on the person on the bed, healing him. So that's doctorish, right? But the real point is that somebody told the felon, this is a photograph that's been doctored. Because of course it's AI. It's been doctored.
Doctored, the word again.
Doctor. He took the word doctor. And he took the fact that he had his hand on and he said, no, it's not me as Jesus. It's me as a doctor. And then, in case we're like skeptical, he said, I make a lot of people better. He is deranged. He's deranged.
Absolutely deranged.
What's interesting about this, and I heard today there was another one with him. I don't know. Jesus is there and doing something with him. I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. But here's the thing. We can all sort of chuckle about it, but a lot of people are not chuckling. A lot of people believe, well, I mean, it is blasphemous. If you're a Christian, it's blasphemous. And he is now bleeding Catholic supporters. But I'd like to say a thing about that. That makes Catholic supporters bleed. Like adjudicated rapist doesn't make them bleed. 43-time felon doesn't make them bleed.
Apparently not. No.
Doing a certain act with a microphone more than once doesn't make them bleed away from him. No, it takes a picture. I think people who are shocked by this picture need to stop, drop, and roll, figure it out, because it's weird. Listen, it is sacrilegious. There's no question about it. It's in very bad taste. But listen, and also any port in a storm, if that's what makes them leave.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. But also it's coming on the back of this punch down that's been going on with the Pope.
Punch up, because they can't, the Pope, that's a whole nother thing. Yes.
Well, they think it's a punch down because
they do.
They see him as another American.
Yes.
But that's not how the world sees him.
No, this is the thing. If he had an accent, if he was a little Italian man, or if he was a little somebody from somewhere, not an African country, mind you, then maybe they would have been a little deferential. But this is a guy from Chicago who speaks with an American accent when he's speaking English. That can't possibly be the Pope. What are you talking about? That's how they think.
And it does demystify the role of the Pope. There's no doubt for Americans, but also it's about these positions can carry enormous traditional weight and so forth. And someone had said the other day that, Trump has defiled the presidency, the Supreme Court has defiled justice, etc.
Mhm.
This is the thing, they get all the benefits of these roles without earning it.
Right.
Now, back to this particular time with this Pope, who's only been in 5 minutes.
Yep.
This is another thing. He's talking, the Pope himself, he knows what he's dealing with. I think he's got a MAGA brother. He knows this mentality.
Yes.
He needs to get the propaganda machine that the Iranians are using and get it out there. Don't bother even responding. Just get some 20-year-old
to do a Lego video. Those videos are amazing. Yes.
Just crush them with Lego.
If you have not seen the Iranian Lego videos, there's several of them. They are wonderful. There was one today which spoke exactly to this issue about attacking the Pope in this way. Well, so let's talk about this attack on the Pope. We've got J.D. Vance, who has been, talk about 5 minutes. He's only been a Catholic since 2019. Okay. And he says the Pope needs to watch himself when it comes to talking about theology. I saw somebody that said the Pope should say to him, JD, you might want to watch yourself when you're talking about couches and, well, anyway, the whole couch thing.
It's actually not even worth responding to this teenage sort of insult level. The Pope should be above that.
Well, he should be above it. Take his magic wand and whatever he does and say, I excommunicate you. Well,
wouldn't you love it? Wouldn't you love it? But it's not just Vance, of course.
No, it's Homan.
Marco Rubio.
And Rubio's a lost soul.
I know he is a lost soul. You see it in his eyes.
You can see it in his eyes. But guess what? Okay, I wasn't this, well, we'll get back to the religion part in a second. I think that the felon sent Vance to Hungary because he knew Orban was going to lose. And I think that the felon doesn't want any Republican to succeed him. So I think he is trying to make, what's his name, Vance look bad, which that's not hard. At Rubio as well. I mean, the head of the State Department, why isn't he over there in Hungary?
Yes, why isn't he negotiating?
I think it's Trump.
He's trying to sink Vance, right?
Yes, I think he's trying to sink both of them.
Yes, but definitely Vance, I think even more. I think he forgets Rubio's around half the time. Because Vance is a bigger identity in his world. Now, the thing with that, I don't know so much because Trump is spectacularly ill-informed.
True.
He is disinterested in the play-by-play of any country, even his own.
Right.
So I don't know that he so much knew that Orban was going to lose. I don't think he'd thought it through that much. But he's on a mission to just send Vance off in case he can lose something. It's almost like that.
It all worked out.
It all worked out. It's like,
The best part, to sort of weave religion into this, the best part was that he didn't even get over his jet lag, Vance, before he was scheduled to go to an event at Turning Point USA. I think this was in Michigan, or I don't. But the arena, it was huge, but it was 25% full. And Erica, who spells her damn name with a K like I do, anyway, Erica was supposed to be there with him. Now you would have thought, given everything, like the hug, the hands,
who thought of putting them together anyway?
Well, you would have thought that the prospect of the two of them together would have brought all kinds of people out just for the scandal of it, just to see what the next thing was going to be. But the auditorium was only 25% full, and Erica, claiming security concerns, did not show.
See, this is where their lies circle round.
Yeah.
Right? Now, it seems obvious to us, her people would have known how many ticket sales or whatever. They don't want her to be exposed to an empty.
That's right.
Again, Trump's people aren't looking after Vance,
No,
right? They let him go into the empty stadium.
And get heckled. That's the other thing. He got heckled.
And got significantly heckled. Then part two, her excuse was, security, I am so famous and I am so special. You know, I've been given threats. Now, as someone pointed out, if there was a genuine security threat, Vance should not have been allowed in the building.
Right.
So either, it doesn't matter how you read it, he's been thrown to the walls, and I don't believe for a minute there was a security threat, because you wouldn't let the vice president of the United States just go and chat on his own because someone else on the panel had been threatened. Their lies make no sense.
No, their lies don't make any sense. And she herself is going down hard because of her previous background prior to her marriage to Charlie. So I think that's very interesting. I think she's trying to avoid being in the public eye unless it's an adoring public eye. I want to say too about religion that I saw this a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. There's been this huge resurgence of people going back to church, Catholic church. Bishops in the States cannot, they don't know what to attribute that to. But I'll tell you what, they better widen the doors, because with this thing with the Pope, they are going to be flooded with people. And what does that mean? It means that people, well, what I think it is that, you know, people who are in the cult of MAGA wanted a daddy, and the felon presented himself as that. He was going to be the shepherd. I'm your retribution. I'm your this, I'm your that, I'm the other. Well, now that he's turned out to be a dud, which we could have told them, they are still in need of a shepherd. Why not go to the original shepherd who is used to having a flock, who will welcome them back into the fold? It's traditional. It's what they remember from their childhood. It is, you know, there's nothing negative attached to being a part of it. Right? I think that the Catholic Church is about to have this incredible influx of returned members. And JD.
Well, and also, I didn't know until yesterday, just looking up how many Catholics in America, 70 million.
Yeah.
I would have thought 30 million maybe, or 70 million Catholics. Now, not everyone goes to mass every Sunday, of course.
No, or believes in a lot of right.
But who are notionally on the census as Catholics. That is a huge number.
And he got all those votes. Catholics in droves went for the felon. Mm-hmm. But you know what? What goes up comes down. And now we're down. All right. This is okay. We're going to get to well, anyway, I mean, I just think it's very interesting to watch this evangelical bubble, which is going to burst. And when I say burst, I don't mean expand in this huge way. And no, it's going to burst and it's going to fall, and that's going to be it. While the Catholic Church, I mean, listen, it's not been the Catholic Church for 2,000 years for nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
It will be.
It's seen a few regimes come and go.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the juiciest news of the day.
Ooh,
Melania came out. Do you know that? I don't know if you heard this trivia. I don't know if you heard this trivia, but she wore the same outfit, which was a Valentino, because she doesn't care about wearing American stuff like most first ladies wear American designers. But no, you know, she's a European. God forbid we should forget it. Okay. She came out in the same outfit that she wore when she talked about bullying and cyber stuff and how be best and all of that. So she wore it on purpose with the 5-inch heels, walks up to the podium, and says everybody's mean to me and they need to leave me alone and stop whatever. Okay. What was that about? Like, where did that come from? First of all, the felon said he didn't know she was going to do it. He knew she was upset, and he knew that, she was going to go out there and talk, but he didn't know he didn't know what she was going to say. He's trying to be diplomatic. And so he was asked, well, what do you think? Should she have said it? And he goes, well, I don't know that I would have done it. Obviously, he wouldn't have done it. But anyway, here's the point. Why was she out there then? And I say that because the war and everything else had kind of blown Epstein stuff to the side.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not off the stage, because I'm always Epstein. I'm always saying, don't forget. But it still had been moved to the wings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She brought it right up front and center. So that Todd Blanche, who tried to do a cleanup on aisle 6 and says, oh, we're not doing Epstein anymore. He said that today. We're not talking.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Tell Melania, because she's the one that brought it up. Okay, but what's that about? Okay, what it's about is the day before, a woman, a lot of you already heard this, but it's just so juicy. A woman named Amanda, what is her name? Ungaro, went to social media and did a series of tweets or posts or whatever. And they got increasingly kind of hostile and threatening.
Okay.
I mean, including calling the first lady the B word. I mean, she would, and I'll bring you down and your pedo husband. And okay, what's that about? I mean, was that just random? No. Okay. Amanda Ungaro is Brazilian. She met Trump and Epstein and all of them when she was like 16, 15, 16, and met one of their crew who was Paolo Zampoli, and ended up living with Paolo Zampoli. Paolo Zampoli was a very, very wealthy guy. His mother's apparently an esteemed heart surgeon in Milan. The father,
and he's a people trafficker or something.
Yeah. The father died when Paolo was 18 and left Paolo a very big toy company, which Paolo immediately sold to Berlusconi, somebody associated with Berlusconi. And so now he has a lot of money. Okay. He fast forward, but then we're going to have to go back. So he meets Amanda Ungaro. She's 17, and they are together. They have this son, and they are very good friends of the Trumps. There are Christmas cards with the 4 of them. Christmas cards. So anyway, they split up, Amanda and Paolo, because Paolo had an affair on Amanda, no surprise, and Amanda left. She since, they weren't married, so, but common law, whatever. She since has married a guy who's a plastic surgeon. And Paolo and Amanda have a teenage son. Well, Amanda and her now husband got arrested for some kind of doing some cosmetic procedures without the right, permits or whatever. Turns out, actually, the permits were okay because the husband didn't get in trouble. But Amanda got taken into custody because she had overstayed her visa. Because Paolo kept saying, oh, I'll get you citizenship. Don't worry about it. You'll get your green card. You'll get your green card. You'll get your green card. But then when they split up, that was it. So Paolo calls, because they're in a custody battle for the son, calls ICE and says, I'm in the White House, because he's in the administration. My ex is illegal. So get her. They get the woman. This is the woman who has lived this incredible lifestyle, friends with Melania all this time, all these years. They put her in ICE custody for 3.5 months.
Months.
Months. She described how horrible it was. I mean, you can imagine. And then they deported her to Brazil with just her prison outfit, and that's it. That she had nothing. Okay. So meanwhile, when she was in ICE custody, she calls Melania because she's known Melania. Melania has come to her child's birthday parties. Melania and she have shared lunches. She wanted Melania to help her. Melania said, "It's not my business." Because, of course, I don't really care. Do you? I mean, that's basically
that's Melania.
So now Amanda's mad. She's trying to get custody of her son. She sees everything that's going on, and she's decided she's going to bring them down. But wait, there's an added little twist. Maybe
I'm intrigued.
Maybe when you hear this, okay. Paolo Zampoli, the mean Brazilian ex who got his wife deported and who is in the White House, he has some job, whatever, has another child. And this is a girl. And he has raised this girl, or at least been in her life from forever. She is 40 years old now, lives quite a lovely life in Milan as a DJ, has all the money in the world. Her name is Brina, Brina. She's a dead ringer for guess who? Melania. So theory is Melania and Paolo had this baby together. Melania was on a track to be introduced to Trump because Trump was on the come up and he was going to be the president of the United States and all of that. That was her trajectory. Paolo is a devout Catholic, so there wasn't going to be any abortion or anything like that. Yeah. So they said apparently he raised her or had her raised, but there are all kinds of photographs with her, with him, and this young woman who's not so young anymore. She's 40. So Melania would have been maybe 20 when the child was born. Zampoli, I think they're a similar age. Zampoli and Melania. Yeah. So I think that this is what she doesn't want to have come out. Now, Amanda did an article. I did an interview with, I think it's called, I don't know what it's called, a magazine or newspaper in Brazil. Diario, maybe something like that. And so everybody's thinking they're on the edge of their seats waiting to say it. I read the interview. It was really anodyne. She didn't really say much of anything, but she's apparently going to be doing an interview with CNN tomorrow.
Yes.
Right. And so who knows what is getting ready to come out?
The lawyers would be working overtime, in terms of the television station as well, because she's obviously got the goods.
I hope she stays away from windows and
absolutely. Yeah.
And stairs.
Yes.
And stairs, because that's their other, I mean,
and remember Ivana,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, and wait, here's another thing I heard. This was a Substack piece that I read. That we have Melania, we have Ivana, we have a lot of these women that in this whole ring of this whole ring that everybody was involved in, who are the handlers of these powerful men? Who would you least expect to be the handlers of these powerful men? The women. Right? They're attractive. They don't say much.
But they've seen and heard it all go down.
Yes. And Melania's father was in the secret police of Slovenia. Ivana's father as well in Czechoslovakia was in some sort of secret police. So the thinking is that the women are I mean, as much to blame for a lot of this as the men.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like, remember the Marcoses in the Philippines,
Yeah,
Imelda
Imelda,
Marcos and all of
yes.
that. So, and then Margaret Thatcher. So when women go to put all their power in these places, they play hardball.
Yeah, they play hardball. Yes, bless and protect Amanda Angaro, because I really feel like, okay, somebody said I'm Catholic and voted for Harris. I am sure there are many Catholics who voted for Harris. Let's be careful here. I noticed this as an American phenomenon, that I guess it's that rugged individualism, that American exceptionalism. When you say something like a lot of Catholics voted for Trump, and you can look at the statistics that will bear that out, people are very quick to say, well, I didn't. Okay, that's good, but a lot of people did. And that's the thing that we need to keep our eye on. There are always exceptions, but we have to start thinking of ourselves as a collective as well. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? I think there are always exceptions. Like, what is that thing about, the guy on Substack? Did you hear this one? Andrew Tate. You know who Andrew Tate is?
Yes.
Bad guy. Bad.
Demonic. Mm.
Demonic. That's right. Well, he has been kicked off of Facebook. He's been kicked off of Instagram. And now he showed up yesterday, I think yesterday, on Substack.
Oh, no.
And that's where I write. That's where a lot of really good writers.
No, it's not a good development.
It's not.
And it was Don Jr. who agitated to get Andrew Tate out. So for those who aren't familiar, he's one of those misogynist, manosphere guys. And he was done for people trafficking and stuff in Romania. Mm-hmm. And it was Don Jr. And then Don Jr. got Daddy to get him out.
Right. So now, obviously what Substack is interested in is not so much Andrew Tate, but the following that he brings. In one day, he was number one in politics.
Oh, no.
Now, because there's been such an uproar on Substack about this, he has dropped all the way to number 4.
Not good enough.
Not good enough.
They chase the safe spaces down for, that people have. They chase them down and corrupt them.
Well, yes. And so apparently this is a big controversy in the Substack community. Like, what I did is I went to his page and then I blocked him. And so there's a big black thing that says, you have blocked this guy. We all should be doing that. But now the big thing is, do we leave Substack? Do we stay on Substack? And so a lot of people are saying, well, I don't want to be chased off a platform that has proved to be so rich,
This is the problem. And also, I think he doesn't write by and large. He'd have someone writing it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think his followers are deep readers. So it might just,
peter
fall away, hopefully.
Well, apparently he was...
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
He was solicited to come to Substack. So it's very interesting. And so, that expression, in line with the thing, I'm Catholic and I voted for Harris, there's an expression that says, not all men, but somehow always a man. How did that happen? Somehow always a man.
Yes, but and I think not to be chased off by him. I'm sort of just in that camp.
No, I'm not going to be chased off. I mean, I did block him, and I also I put a note, wrote a note to the Substack team expressing my dismay. But on my account, I mean, I have something like 3,000, 3,500 subscribers. There are people who have, tens of thousands, millions. Those big accounts are the ones that have to say, what are you doing? But I think this is also a very American phenomenon, which is you can have something really good, really pure, really high-minded, but because America worships the dollar to the point where we have "in God we trust" on our money,
yes,
always only ever comes down to the money. It's so very sad.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of men object to his presence there, which I think is great. And hopefully Substack will listen, and hopefully some of the big accounts will, go on record as not approving of this person's presence in that space.
No. No, that just opens another can of worms. I was going to say, where does free speech become hate speech? But that's another whole conversation.
That is the question. And this is some of the dialogue that's going on there. Is somebody says, well, I don't like him, but I don't like more shutting someone's free speech down. Well,
there is a difference between free speech and hate speech. Right. I haven't had enough coffee to give you my view on that this morning.
Well, I mean, I think things are just coming at us all so thick and fast. It just really makes your head spin. It's hard to keep up. I'm going to just see if there's questions here, because was that? No, she didn't get genius citizenship. Exactly. Nor did she get that family thing that Trump wants to get rid of, that Melania used to get her family over here.
But see, again, the Dems need to play dirtier than they are, in the sense they should have, for the last 10 years, been going, 2 of your 3 wives are immigrants. Your kids are the children of immigrants. Just go there, and smack it down in the beginning. But he's been allowed to get away with it because Dems don't want to offend anyone. That, to me, is not an anti-immigrant position. It's pointing out hypocrisy.
Well, speaking of hypocrisy,
right.
We forgot to add to our list of juicy subjects Swalwell, Eric Swalwell.
Oh, Erica, I was devastated. Look, with everything that happens every day, hit my feed, and I went into denial for 24 hours, right? I thought, I can't go and deal with that. Look, when I get back to it, someone will have found out that Roger Stone's paid 6 women. I just couldn't deal with it. It was such a disappointment on top of everything else.
Well, you know what? I mean, so I've had people
allegedly.
I've had people say different things. Like, okay, let's just play the devil's advocate, and let's say that Roger Stone paid these women. If he paid them, he didn't just pick up random women off the street to pay. These were women who have
I know
claims to make, is the thing. But here's the best part. Well, the worst part. Now in the halls of Congress, people are being asked about this, and these are Democrats saying that it was common knowledge.
This is where it's doubly gutting.
Right.
Not surprising. And that's what really has done him in the sense that, everyone's suddenly saying, everyone knew, what he was up to. So disappointing. And the party also, there you go, they knew but did nothing.
Right. Right. I mean,
it's like Cuomo in New York.
Yes, like Cuomo. That's what I said. He's the third Cuomo brother. Exactly. Now, of course, that guy Gonzalez is also leaving because for the same reasons on the Republican side. But the point is, there is blame to go all around. And when we're wondering, why don't the Democrats do anything? I'm going to say at this point, especially when it comes to things like Epstein, it is not, much as we would like to think that it's cowardice or that it's wanting to be nice and not make waves. I don't think so. I think a pox on both their houses is what I think.
Here's another thing. Generally, I'm now going to the other point of view and batting for them. It's the line of least resistance if you've got a talented person. If he wasn't a super talented politician, they might have either shut him down or it certainly wouldn't have the impact this has, right?
Right.
The problem is that he was on the brink of getting this job, which the Eric Swalwell we thought we knew would have done a brilliant job at,
On his off time when he wasn't.
I know. And then here we have it, and everyone's dragged through the mud with it.
Right.
And it could well transpire into criminal cases down the track.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But there was another point I wanted to make about. Kennedy would not have passed muster in the modern world.
No.
I mean, John Kennedy only got away with his lifestyle choices because it was an era where
Well, but this is what I keep saying is that
privacy
why are
protected.
people doing 20th century bad stuff in a 21st century world? Do they not realize that what's done in the dark will come to the light? In this day and age, you can't hide anything.
No. And it would be a different question if it was one person and a mutual dalliance, and that's
but that's not what that was.
To his wife or whatever. This is nasty stuff.
Nasty. Yeah. So to get a little bit granular, the California governor's race.
Oh, sorry, there's just a few comments here. Aaron, hold that thought.
Okay.
Aaron, who's a regular. Sorry, what did you mean, Aaron? You said absolutely not, Lena. I don't know if you meant absolutely not or mot, as in French word for word.
For word.
Absolutely.
Probably not.
Aaron, just let me know again here. Thanks. Now.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Aaron?
So we have an interesting situation going on here in California. Swalwell, of course, is now out of the race, so that's one down. But we have a very, very full governor's slate of candidates. 2 Republicans and then a bunch of Democrats. And the way that they do it in California is they have the primary, and whoever the top 2 people are, those are the candidates. So it could be a Democrat and a Republican, it could be 2 Democrats, or it could be 2 Republicans. Swalwell was the front runner. I mean, he's not just out of Congress; he's now out of the governor's race. He was the front runner, but you could say to yourself, "Okay, that's the bad news. The good news is that the field is smaller." One of the candidates, so there's these 2 Republicans, whatever, they're Trumpers, whatever. And then we have Tom Steyer, who is a billionaire, who invests in those for-profit prisons. And, depending on what day you turn the television on, he'll say either, oh, I really regret that decision, or he'll say, I don't regret any decision that I've ever made. And he's trying to talk like a progressive. He's totally not a progressive. Then we have Katie Porter, who was wonderful in Congress, if you recall her. But she entered the race really early, and then she declared early and then dropped off. Like nobody heard, because she didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Then we have Becerra, who's great. He was Attorney General here. He was also in the Obama government Health and Human. He was he's a very good candidate, but it's really a numbers game.
Mm.
He would end up in California.
Oh,
2 Republican governors. That's not good.
that is so not good.
Mm-hmm.
And with Katie Porter too, the scandal about her office was such a big. I've always been a Katie Porter fan, and I think she's the genius of the whiteboard.
She's the genius of the whiteboard. And you know what they're saying now? Because what that scandal was about was that people were saying that she was not nice she was nasty to her staff. Listen, when is the last time you saw a man get critiqued for that to the point where it didn't make him a good candidate for something?
Yeah, look, that was exactly where I was going with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't necessarily doubt the accounts, but I think she's smart enough to have pulled herself up and gone, you know what? I've become a snarling witch behind the scenes. I need to back up, and treat my people better. And I think she was perfectly capable of making that step.
Exactly. And you know what? The snarling bitch, we can still keep her. She can just direct it at the felon. That works.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, well, can you believe it? We have reached the end of another hour.
Whoosh.
That flew by. So listen, I mean, everybody keep an eye out for Amanda Ungaro's interview with CNN. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much she would be allowed to say on that.
Right.
Anyway, we'll see.
We'll see. Well, I mean, I wish she had just not sort of done the town crier announcement beforehand and just come out in some legitimate media, organ and tell us the real truth. So, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. The other thing is about Epstein. I don't know if you've seen this. What's her name? The Farmer sisters, Maria and Annie Farmer, who were 2 of the first girls to complain to the FBI. Maria is an artist, and she complained, I don't know, 30 years ago is when the first complaint was filed. She has part of the file is that part of what's in the file are paintings that she's made. And I don't know if you've seen those paintings, but they are part of the record, and they are quite an indictment of very specific people. You will recognize them in these paintings. Wow. They are just searing. So Epstein's not going away anytime soon. We need to keep the pressure on around that. But in the meantime, again, drink your water, try to go to bed early.
Yeah, look after yourself, guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. And you know where to reach us. Lena is LenaDownUnder, and I'm in the Company of Cards. We read cards on our respective channels, but when we come here on Wednesday nights, we do what we just did, and we enjoy it.
Rave on.
Yes. So we'll see you all next week. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.